Excuse me.
We're live.
Not yet. Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 105.3 and 107.7 to United Public Radio Network, also known as UFO Paranormal Radio Network, broadcast to you out of the beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana. And you're listening to The Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer. I'm getting distracted by the chat. I'm so glad you guys are here. Sorry. Akashic Records, spiritual teacher and mentor, and I'm a registered nurse. I'm also a host of a second show that we started in the new year called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed on Thursdays with my amazing co-host. Sorry, guys, I'm sick. You can hear I'm sick. David Hansel, and that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. Now, if you've never been to the show, welcome. If you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. I also want to welcome our regulars that are back here. I can see you all in the chat, including one of our usual regular guests is or I should say in the chat is my guest this evening. I'll introduce him in just a sec. But if you like what you see, please share, like, and subscribe, because there's something for everybody on this network. We have multiple shows that stream day and night on the network 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming, this network's been around for 25 years. So there are all kinds of incredible shows that have either been syndicated here or just past hosts, regular. I'm getting to be an oldie moldy on this network, but there's all kinds of stuff on there, and there's something for everybody. We always have new hosts coming from all over the world with amazing shows. So please share with your friends and family. We really enjoy that. The more the merrier. Also, we're streaming to you. I'm not streaming tonight, but I usually stream The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. We have a TV channel on Roku now. It's under UFO Space P. If you're looking in the channel store, there'll be a drop-down list and you're looking for UFO Space Paranormal Radio. Yep, UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not well tonight. I apologize. I'm doing my best here. Yes, and also we use StreamYard. So if you've never been to the show and you want to join in and be part of the conversation in the comments, because if you've been here before, you know I love to involve my audience. I always say I wouldn't have a show without all of you, and I'm so grateful for that. You can head over to UFO Paranormal Radio either on Facebook and YouTube. I'm streaming to my YouTube channel tonight, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Finally, took me about 200 times, but I was actually able to add it to my Facebook profile. So it's under Lorilei Potvin. It's public. You can see it. Streaming to Paranormal University, which is my group, one of them. And I'm also streaming to Canada's Most Haunted. So there's lots of different places to watch it. Two things. First of all, if you're going onto Facebook, and I will highlight you so you'll know, if you've never used StreamYard or access to podcasts before like that, you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give them permission to use your picture and your name. Otherwise, you come up as Facebook user, and I have no idea who you are. And that's okay if you want to stay anonymous. But if you want me to kind of say, hey, Joe, whoever, and your name's there, you can also add your name behind your comment too. That will also help. So I think that's everything I want to tell you. So let me introduce our guest this evening. So hang on, I had it all ready here. So our guest is Jonathon Keyworth, and he is from JK-47 Paranormal Investigations. I'll say the title of it is JK-47 Paranormal Investigator. He's a veteran of the U.S. Army, and he went to Iraq in 2003 to 2004. He had many near-death experiences, and his story can be seen on the Science Channel on a show called Mission Unexplained, Episode 3. He was able to begin his paranormal journey in July 2020. He's helped families from coast to coast with poltergeists and hauntings. He helps those that no one else will, and he's done it all on his own dime, which is really amazing. He also has begun to grow spiritually, and he's begun focusing more on helping spirits settle their unrest by communicating with his SB7 spirit box. He's currently trying to help in cold cases and trying to provide evidence that we can communicate with spirits on the other side. He does all his sessions live so you can hear what he hears. And you can see it on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. He is also one of the co-hosts with Talking with the Source with Robin Haffern. You may see him as Haffern Paranormal when he's here. And AJ Capasso. I know AJ, I've had him on the show. I believe it was last year. All three of them do that. So he also added, please follow, subscribe to JK-47 Paranormal Investigations. And he says, love and light to all in his awesome bio. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
very much.
so glad to have you here. So thank you, guys. I'm sorry. Right after my show last Monday night, I started getting a sore throat, and I kept telling myself, I'm healthy. I'm healthy. I'm not getting sick. And I knew I couldn't say I'm not getting sick, because that's what the universe hears, sick, and gives you more what you ask for. So I kept saying I'm healthy. Well, that didn't work. So I'm on the tail end. Let me say hi to a few people here. We've got
Yeah, bring him in. Bring him in.
regular Z Sun Dragon, which is Kevin. And I don't think I've met Chris Binder or Binder. Please.
He's one of my friends.
I thought he probably was. Welcome,
Yeah,
Chris.
we've investigated the Abbey. I helped him in his hometown. I investigated the bowling alley there, so he's a real good friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I did shut the window. Sorry, I've got one open here because it was actually warm today. Zach Powers, how are you? We've not seen him forever. Zach has supported UPRN and my shows for a long, long time. I know him from our fellow friend, Jason Bland with Paranormal Soup. Check him out on Sunday nights, you guys. He's got amazing guests. He streams on Facebook. It's Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, and his YouTube channel under Jason Bland. He helped me a lot with my paranormal experiences. Let's see. I don't think drink pickle juice, Chris says.
I don't know, man.
I'm not a drinker, but this is something I learned from my dad's mom. My dad passed it down to me. So this is going down like into my chest. I'm probably gonna be coughing. I took cough syrup. So
Maybe that's why you're supposed to drink the pickle juices to cough it all up.
You know what I'm going to drink? Probably. I don't drink, but I'm going to probably get my is it Courvoisier brandy?
Cavassier, yeah.
Yeah, and you heat it up, and then you drink it before you go to bed, and usually it makes you pretty warm, and you kind of sweat it all out all overnight, and that's probably what I'll do.
Well, like I told you before, hot bath or a hot tub, get rid of any cold that you have.
I told you I have a back injury. That's why. Otherwise, I tell people, believe me, if I could be working as in active duty as a nurse, I would definitely be doing that. So it's a little hard to get in and out of the tub. So I would love to do that too. But maybe I'll go for sauna. That might help too. We'll see. So let's talk about you, though, not about me. So you're one of our regular viewers. I actually met Jonathon for the first time because I've been on Talking with the Source quite a few times, and very grateful for that. And we kind of became friends. And this is my chance to ask you all the questions I wanted to ask you, because we've done some interesting stuff. Because if you follow the show, you know I'm also a true crime fan. Not that I'm a fan of crime, but I do follow it. I really try and understand the psyche of some people that do some really horrible things and try and understand why and what. So when we had Danilo Cavalcante in Pennsylvania that was running loose and wild, he escaped from jail. Those of you that might not be aware of it, I think everybody in the world heard about it. Two of my favorite crime channels are Grizzly True Crime, with Gisela K. She's in the Netherlands and she's from South Africa. I like her because she focuses on victims of crime with deep empathy and nothing but facts. The other one I really like is Surviving the Survivor with Joel. Oh, I think it's Haddon is his last name. He used to be a big news reporter, and now he does podcasting 7 days a week, and he covers true crime and some ufology, actually. But so we were trying to figure out where you did an SB7. Do you want to tell the story? Because it's pretty phenomenal. Hi, Sandra Sharp.
So, it was after my 7th session with the cold case I'm working on now. But I was like, I wonder.
We're going to get into that. Don't worry. We're going to
I know. I don't want to spoil it for him. That's why I said that case. So, but I was wondering, like, I'm sitting there watching the news. I'm like, this is kind of a big thing. And I remember
how could you not find this guy? Like, I mean, they had over 600 police, they had elite forces, they had FBI, they had the marshals,
I remember during the Gabby Petito thing.
Yeah, I remember
they were looking
Gabby's
for
case.
Brian Laundrie. Mm-hmm. I remember I contacted her spirit. I purposely waited like till 5 days after they found her or whatever. And I contacted her spirit, and this is back when my office was upstairs on the third floor, and I was just like, just asking the more basic questions. I wasn't expecting anything, but after reviewing it said he's in Northport, and that's where they found him. That's where they found his body, was in Northport. And this was like a week before they found his body. So I was like, you know what? I have the confidence. I believe in myself. I believe in my spirits. Why not? Let's see what we got. And the clearest one that I got from him is he's in the shed by the river. Like the shed by river is what they said.
You blew my mind, though, because you ended up finding this abandoned shed by the river.
It was the only shed. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Michelle Pratt. She's here from Australia. Welcome.
Hi,
You guys,
Michelle.
feel free to let us know where you're from, too, in the
Oh,
chat.
and there's Sandra Sharp. We didn't give a hi to
I did
Sandra.
say hi, Sandra.
Did you?
I did. Yeah. I wouldn't forget her. That's okay. Nobody minds everybody saying hi more than once. So that's awesome. No, and then we were talking about this, right?
Yeah.
And like you pinpointed it, and I don't know, being in Canada, I don't understand exactly like the layout of Pennsylvania, obviously. So I asked you, like, is this shed anywhere near where they thought they had the perimeter for this guy? And what did you say he was east? Was he just east of the perimeter?
It was, so the shed that I found was literally like about 5 miles from where they were searching in the Longmont or whatever it was. I'm not sure what it was, Longview or Long something.
Right.
They were doing this whole neighborhood, and where he was up here and they were down there. So
it didn't look that far, though.
It wasn't that far, no. But what he was doing, what I think he was doing was using the rivers at night, because nothing's going to be jumping out at you in the river at night. You might feel some weird fish or something touch your leg. That would scare you.
Well, he was from Brazil too.
Yeah, yeah. So he's used to the jungles and stuff. So I think that's what he was doing. He was using that river to travel at night and sleeping during the day, because if you can sleep quiet, then nothing will bother you. And that's why that shed was along the river. And that shed was actually not too far from where they found him too.
Well, Chris says Longmont too close to home.
No, that's Colorado. No, not Longmont, Colorado.
Oh, that's okay. Well, at least, there's a lot of
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but there's a lot of cities that have the same name.
Yeah, I know.
That's what States. Right? Because I know we have Duluth, Minnesota. I always tell people we're about 35, 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border. And I haven't been over the border since before the last 3 years. It's been quite a while. And I know if it was a long weekend, if I was in Duluth, Minnesota, and you literally go over a bridge and you're in Superior, you're in Wisconsin, in Superior, but I will run into probably, oh God, sometimes like 40 people I know from my city. Like everybody goes there. And then there's Duluth, Georgia, I think it is too. There's a couple Duluths in the United States. So like I say, you got to say the state, otherwise.
Yeah, I remember I was so excited about that because I knew you were all into it. So I shared that with you. And
I know, but then we said, okay, so how are we going to call in? Like, what are you going to say? Oh, the spirit told us where he's hiding. Like, and then I said, then it implicates yourself calling in, because well, how do you know this? Like,
I told my brother's friend, who's a U.S. Marshal, and my brother died almost 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To the date. And it was October 1st, 2021. So
I'm sorry.
But he was a U.S. Marshal,
right.
and that's how he passed. He was helping people and gotten into an accident. So, his heart and mind is still with me. I feel it all the time. So when I send him in a text, I was like, hey, here's the address based off of the satellite view. I would bet he's here, and we probably could have caught him sooner, because if they had listened, they would have been in that path. That's the crazy thing about it.
But you know what David said when we were talking about this? David Hansel, my co-host on Thursday nights, he goes, "You guys could just call the anonymous tip line." I went, "Oh gosh, I never even thought of that." Right? We could have.
So, I don't know if they'd take it seriously or not.
That's the problem. Like, I was talking to one of my closest friends last night. She's like my best friend, and we've been trying to talk for like 2 weeks. So like 3 hours went by like nothing. And she's not a night person like I am. Otherwise, probably would have been on the phone for 6 hours. Anyways, I was telling her all this stuff, and like you were coming on today and all. And what did she say? Well, you could call the police. She said, sometimes they work with psychics. I said, honey,
well,
I but no one's gonna listen.
I told the person that I trust, and he knows my stuff's good.
Well, he knows you. So
his cousin was the first cold case that I worked on. His cousin died in 1993, mysteriously.
Oh, wow.
I got a clip. It's my best clip that I have of that case. So
wow.
Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll show you guys.
Okay, yeah, because we can do. You let me know if you want to share it, because I'll just push screen share, and you should be able to do it. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard the EVPs. Like, I never did. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, I did. You have to play it. I can't play it, so I just put it in the stream there.
Okay, let me see. We'll figure this out, guys. We were talking about it, so let me see if it'll.
It should be right next to my picture there.
Yeah, I see it, but add to stage. There we go. Sorry about that.
Who murdered you? So I slowed that down. I used an AI filter, everything, and I can still hear it. And it says, Rusty, he did it. It was him. Please help.
Can we play it again?
I got the original clip if you want to hear it from the spirit box too.
Okay, well, let's try it from here first. We'll play it. Hang on.
Who murdered you?
See, I always find like ghost boxes and stuff hard to hear.
Well, this is because of the editing. If you hear the true one, you'll hear it goes. It's like a full sentence. It goes through at least 20 stations before it's over with. And
wow. Well, do you think the faster one is easier to hear? You can play it if you want.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Okay.
But yeah, so when I started it, I'm like, you know what? Don't tell me his first name. I don't want to know anything about the case. I just want to see if I can connect. Just give me her name and the day she died, and I'll see if I can connect to her. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. This was the 10th session. Who murdered you? All right, Sarah.
See, it's hard to.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to hear through the speakers. If you guys have headphones, you can.
Or there's always a replay. That's what I meant to tell you guys.
It's on all my stuff. It's on my channel and everything. If you guys.
Okay, but what I wanted to add, I forgot. I knew there was one thing. I'll get people popping in the last little bit of the show, and they go, "Oh no, I missed the show." There's always. They're always on YouTube, always on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And anywhere where
welcome everyone.
Radio is carried. There's always audio replay, so you can hear it. Well, let's play it one more time. Hang on.
Okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because
I can't add it, and you have to add it. I can take it down, but I can't add it.
Okay, I don't want it to play though, because it's gonna play. I want to wait till.
Who murdered you?
Okay, there it is. Okay, let's see if we can play it. Okay.
All right, Sarah. Who murdered you? All right, Sarah.
Yeah.
And that's the original clip. That's from my dope book.
Who murdered you?
Oh, geez, it doesn't want to come out of there. Sorry, hang on. Oh, no, I added it again, probably, did I? No, I did. Hang on. Sorry, guys. New computer's still figuring it out. Because you and I, okay, you never told me about this. So what we did, was it not this weekend, the weekend before? Well, this Danilo Cavalcante was still...
it was the Friday before they found him on that Sunday.
Okay, so we did a session. We did an Estes method. But okay, so for those of you that don't know me, most of you do, but I know Chris, or anybody else that's listening that may not be in the chat here. I have extreme paranormal experiences living in my previous home. Like, I have EVPs from my previous home that are the creepiest EVPs you have ever heard. I would call them class AA plus 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 plus. I could play them on here. It is insane. And so we did this, and then I warned Jonathan. I said, once something evil knows your name, it does not forget it. So when we were doing this, and it was really weird because you'll see me, I would start to wait as I asked the questions, and Jonathan couldn't hear what I was answering or what I was asking.
We did the Estes method.
Oh, no, but what I was going to say is every time I'd even wait and wait and wait. And as soon as I'd go to speak, something would come through the spirit box. So there was something important, though, I was going to add. And I asked you to repeat it. And the spirit box told me to F off the full.
F off. I remember. I'm like, it just told
me
to F off.
Do you remember what got you off the stream? Because I warned him, and I'm still laughing about it. I'm sorry, I am. So I won't give it away, and I know you're going to play stuff because you said you picked up and heard more. But what happened was he goes, nope, takes off the headphones, and I go, oh, what happened? He goes, I heard, I am the devil. And I said,
yeah, I was like, nope.
And I said, no, but this was the funny part. I asked you, I said, I'm not trying to be creepy or anything, but what did the voice sound like? And you said, kind of like Bill Maher. That was the funny part.
Like that calm show host voice. Yeah.
Okay, so Leona, welcome, Leona. She says black shadow, but it feeds off negativity because that's when I see it, not even a figure. I don't know. Maybe you're saying you've got something at your house. Maybe, Leona, is that what you're adding? I'm not quite sure. You might have to give a little bit more context. Okay, so you want me to put this one up? Is this from us doing this?
That's our session, yeah. So you can go like halfway if you want, but because it's long in the beginning. But yeah.
Oh, is this the whole session?
Yeah, that's the whole session.
It was long. So, okay, so we can start playing it, but what you told me...
You can skip through it and stuff. Yeah, you could just kind of fast forward, whatever.
Okay, but you told me...
I was amazed by everything because every time you asked a question, I would give an answer, whether or not...
Oh, yeah, it all made sense.
It was crazy. Like, I was amazed by it. But the weirdest thing about it was, I use these Dre Beat headphones that have noise cancellation,
right?
And I plugged it into my stuff over there, and it was just this long beep, like feedback type of beep, and I had to sit there and hold it,
I remember that you said that,
yeah. So I've never had that problem before. I never heard of that. So
I know. Well, I warned you. I said, don't be surprised if something comes through that maybe isn't totally positive.
No, yeah. I know my guides have my back. I know I'm good. I believe in myself. I don't believe in that negative stuff such as demons and all that. I figure if I keep it out of my mind, it's going to leave me alone. So.
Well, okay. I'm not trying to freak people out. I'm not trying to freak people out. But okay, I was never looking for the paranormal. The paranormal found me. I was never looking for it. The first thing I'll share it with people that haven't heard this story or as a refresher. It all started, I was still married to my first husband at the time. I was in my previous home. I really couldn't get out of bed with my back at that time. But when I could, I had to keep busy. So I'm always very creative, and I was creating dog accessories and all kinds of jewelry and whatever. So one day I was out, and I had, the night before, my ex-husband and I He's my ex now. His name's Earl. Just call him by Earl because we're on good terms. He doesn't care if I say his name. So, anyways, Earl and I had watched this. How long ago it was when The Secret, that book came out, the movie came out, and we watched it. The next day, I got up, I had to do some shopping, and I went to a lot of local stores and got chit chatting with people. And they all kept offering to carry my merchandise I was making, but none of them wanted a commission. And I remember coming home and telling Earl this, and we were joking. He's going, "Well, maybe it's The Secret." And I said, "Yeah, right, maybe." So, anyways, I went to bed that night, and I had this dream like it happened 5-10 minutes ago. We're talking 15, 16 years ago. There was a tree in my front yard, okay, in the old house. There was a man sitting in my tree. And I always say I'm not a high maintenance kind of girl, but you could tell he had a very expensive suit on. It was dark charcoal with white pinstripes, white silk shirt, black silk tie, and he had black hair all slicked back to about here and behind his ears. And then he had a full beard and mustache, goatee, very tightly trimmed, like it wasn't long, but his skin was like the sickly kind of whitish green. His eyes were going from black to like this flame color. And he says, "Hello, Lorilei." And I can't repeat on the radio what I ended up saying to this thing, but he goes, "You know that little business of yours? That's absolutely nothing." He goes, "I can give you wealth. I can give you fame. I can give you anything beyond your wildest dreams. All you have to do is agree to follow me." And like I said, I can't say on the radio what I told that thing to do, but in no uncertain terms was I agreeing to it. He then, I kept saying, "Who the F are you?" He told me he was a demon, told me his name, spelt it for me. And again, even more emphatically, I told him where to go. And he was laughing at me, wagging his finger at me, going, "Oh, no, 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 no. Every time you see a crow or a raven, you'll know who it is." And I
Yeah, that
remember.
was on your episode. I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just wait. Then it's for the audience to hear for people who haven't heard this. Hi, Mary Mellon. So what happened was I called on Archangel Michael in this dream, and I can't even explain the colors. It was like a royal blue, a silver, and a white. I woke up in a sweat, crying and shaking, and I am not a crier. And I believe me, all heck broke loose. Now, I have never heard this name before. I was forced to go to church every Sunday. I was raised Roman Catholic. I was forced to go to Catholic school. I didn't find that name till about 5 or 6 years later, and I wasn't even looking for it. I was trying to help somebody else who was going through something very difficult. And indeed, everything I'd been told in that dream was on the paper in front of me. And that's where the paranormal started for me. So I was not looking for this. I didn't think about these type of things. I had no interest in this. No, Mish, it is not common for them to tell me their name. So to me, why would you tell me your name and how to spell it? So was it a trickster?
But
I don't
see,
know what it was.
that's where I think
Mhm,
you're in touch with your spirit guides. Like I'll go into these crazy places, but I'm so in touch with my spirit guides, I know they have my back.
mhm,
And I think you were doing it without you even knowing you were doing it. Hey, that little voice in my head is telling me this,
mhm.
and that's the
No,
way I
I
am.
was, but the other thing I don't I may have shared it on here or not. Okay, I have had the paranormal around me my whole life. My grandmother on my dad's side was psychic. She was pregnant, good French Canadian Roman Catholic family every year for 25 years. No wonder she was so miserable. She had 17 children. She stood up at the time my dad was in the middle end of the family. He was about 12. Apparently her eldest son was late for dinner, and I think the way my dad told me it's like 6:03 p.m. and she stood up screaming and yelling the name of her son and that he was dead. And as my dad would tell the story, his father stood up and said, "Don't be ridiculous. He's probably just late for dinner." And I guess the police showed up an hour and a half later knocking on the door. And I guess my uncle, who I obviously never would have met, my dad was 12 when this happened, they had fixed up cars and they were hot rodding, I guess, and no seatbelts. And my uncle was driving ahead of his best friend, and the door flew open and he fell out of the car, and his friend ran him over at 6:03 p.m.
Ooh.
So I have had my earliest experience at the age of 4 when I was 8, and I've never been able to get an answer for this. From the time the snow melted until the time it fell again, we had just moved into a new house. Nobody had lived there. It had been built from the ground up. every night at 3 a.m., and I knew nothing about the paranormal. I was 7 going on 8 years old. I would stop breathing. Like I would be completely blue, completely collapse every single freaking night. Nobody knows what caused it or why. I have had weird, strange things around me my whole life. Don't know why.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking for it. Maybe
You
that was
must have activated something in your brain with all the trauma, something in your pineal gland or right next to the spinal cord there. Something must have accidentally woken up, and I've heard of this, like with people with near-death experiences, being so scared, you get all that adrenaline.
I
The next
had a
thing,
near-death
the
experience.
next thing they know is they're getting these gifts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, they diagnosed me with asthma because they had no idea. But being a nurse, I know what asthma looks like and feels. I wasn't wheezing or anything. I would literally not be able to breathe in or breathe out. Like I would, and
Like
I
you're
would
being
go
crushed.
completely blue. Mm-hmm. It was weird, let me tell you. So, but you know what? Looking at this too, right? And I have met many people like yourself that have never had these kind of experiences. But maybe you never built that into this lifetime experience. Because I can tell you, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now had I not gone through what I did in the previous home. I wouldn't have. I know I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been looking at that. So it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I I remember experiences as a kid at my aunt's house. Like I would babysit my cousins, and we would see this stuff happen, and I would be like, you know what, let's just go upstairs. I was like 13,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I think in my past life, I might have been a more spiritual person, and that's why it's easier to come to us. I don't know. That's the answers I'm trying to find out. And the only person I can talk to is the people on the other side.
Well, you
Because
can.
everyone here thinks it's crazy.
Excuse me, you can. But the thing is, right? And we've talked about this off air. There were things you wanted to know that we talked about. And I said, they're
Yeah,
not going to tell
yeah.
you everything.
No, they're
Even
not.
David will say that. David Hansel, if you haven't met him
Yeah,
before, my co-host, I know some people are just joining in, and he's a really gifted medium and an angel
yeah.
channel.
He's a great guy. Love
He
Dave.
is. He's awesome. But the thing is, he'll even say there's lots of times his guides won't tell him either, or he'll get
Yeah,
nothing. So we're here to
yeah,
learn, right? So they can't tell us
exactly.
everything.
That's why you got to experiment with things. Like
I'm going to
for the.
answer this right here.
Oh, go ahead.
So Chris, is it Binder or Binder?
Binder.
Binder. Okay, Chris. Okay, a succubus is a female, or it's reported to be in the lore, a female demon that poses as a very sexual female, and she gets her energy or her food from sexual activity. The male form of that is called an incubus. So I don't think that that's what it was. And I'm not trying to point you out and say like you're wrong. I'm not trying to say that. I think it's a good educational thing to talk about, but I could see why you would come to that conclusion, right? You're not having any breath, not being able to breathe. It would seem like maybe it was something like that. But remember, I was a child too when this happened. I didn't want to go to sleep. I mean, there was no 911. I can't, and the weird thing was my dad would be scooping me up in the car and trying to drive to the emergency, and we get about a block away, and then I could breathe. I've never forgotten. I'm 58 years old. I've never forgotten that.
I think he replied to you. Let's see. It
Yeah, I
says
see it. So he said,
not.
not quite what I was thinking of. There is something I was thinking of that just sits on top of you and does that. Um,
Oh, those I've heard of those. They're more of a like uh, Eastern Mediterranean type of
mhm,
mythology. That
mhm.
that it's like a spirit that will just purposely
Yeah,
suffocate you. Yeah, I've heard of
mhm,
them too. I can't
yeah,
remember what it's called. Yeah,
yeah. I hear.
old
Do
hag.
you have the same
Old hag. I
issues?
think that's what it is. The old hag.
Is it
That's
the
what I
old
was.
hag?
Yeah. that will sit on you and just take your breath away.
I have
Mitch,
a really weird story too of a past life that was confirmed by two people that didn't know each other that I really didn't know about until
yeah.
the person that told me they knew me and my name. And they used to call me, I think, Maeve. And all of a sudden I heard your name was Maven. And I'm not kidding. It is a crazy story. I'm writing some books, but I swear to God, I'm going to put some of these stories in it because it's just crazy, right? But you know what I want to, before we play this, though, because we will play the Danilo Cavalcanti, because usually I start at the beginning. So what got you interested in the paranormal? I usually ask people this.
Oh man. Like I said, childhood I experienced things, but I just kind of brushed it off. And once I was 18, there's a place here in Colorado. It's called the Riverdale Road,
Okay.
and
We
basically
have one of those. We
the
have one
story
of
is that it was in the 80s. The guy was jogging down the road, and it's a dangerous road. There's a lot of bends and stuff. You can't see around the corners. And
Mm-hmm.
this guy was jogging. He got hit by a car, and he died on the side of that road. And I was 18, and me and my buddy were at this club, and we met some girls that are like, "Oh, you want to go try that?" I was like, "Okay." And we weren't drunk because we were only 18 at that
Right.
time. At that time, you had to be 21 to drink. So I had these big X's on my hands so everybody would know that I can't drink. So
Mm-hmm.
we went over and checked it out. I got out of the car being the macho man, and I was like, yeah, I'll go stand up there. And it was in the northwest corner of the parking lot. And they're like, just stand there and wait a few minutes. And so I'm standing there. All of a sudden, I start feeling my left side of my body like get real cold, but not the right side. And I kid you not, like 3 seconds after I started feeling that, you'd hear in the gravel next to you. The dude runs right by you, and then it starts over again. So it's like a on
Residual?
repeat, like a residual. And I said, "Fuck this! I'm out here!" And I ran to my car. I'm like, "You better beat me to the car. You're staying here." So it's like, that's where it started. And then all my
Mm-hmm.
experiences in Iraq is what kind of brought it. Okay, there's stuff to this. And when I got 100%, like from the military, and I couldn't work anymore, I was like, this is my calling. This is my time. I'm gonna start listening to spirit. I'm gonna start figuring out what happened to me. And in these last 3 years, it's just
Chris wants to go there with you, Jonathan.
well, now it's a golf course with security on it all the time now because all the teenagers ruined it. So
Create
well,
different. Well, thank
maybe I
you
could
for your
talk to the owner.
service. I wanted to say that too. Thank you for your service.
Oh yeah, no, it was my choice. I wanted to be a better person because the time before I joined the military to now, like I didn't know anything about self-sacrifice. I was a pretty selfish person, and I didn't like who I was, and I was almost homeless. So I was like, you know what, I need some discipline. So I don't know if that was spirit telling me go do this, because I can't think of it at that time, because I didn't believe in it, and
Thank
and
you, Janet Martin. She goes, I did take one, believe it or not. Like if I hadn't taken cough syrup, she said an expectorant will provide a productive cough and give
there
me some
you
relief.
go. Yeah,
I
no,
took
cool.
some because I didn't want to be coughing. I would have been starting to talk and keep coughing. I forgot, by the way, you guys, this is my new co-host. He's
Murray,
Halloween season. His name is Murray.
Murray.
My son Justin named him. Actually, the real Murray is downstairs, and I just write up the name tag. I thought he could pose as Murray, and he's the one with autism. Goes. I think we'll call him Pete. I said, well, tonight he's Murray because I just made his name tag.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. He said, too late, buddy. You should have been down here 5 minutes before. So he's joining us for the Halloween season. So anyway, so you said after Iraq and everything. So how long
Yeah,
have you been doing this?
2020, July 2020 was my very first case when I went to Michigan. She had antlers thrown at her
Oh,
She'd been
wow.
tripped and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna dive in and see what I can find. And yeah,
I think
and
you have a gift for this. David and I were talking about this. I mean, I may have told you this, but we were talking off air about this because a lot of the information you seem to get, a lot of people don't that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not an ITC or
no.
trans communication specialist, but I've seen enough of it. And you do seem to have a real rapport with spirit and get the answers. So,
And that's the thing. Like most people are like, "Why are you doing this in your home? Aren't you scared? You're just gonna get." I'm like, "No, because I don't consider it like that. I consider it like an interview, like what we're doing now, and I respect them and I respect what they have to say. That's why I'll wait until, maybe I heard something or felt something that was correlation with the question, and then I'll say, "Okay, thank you, sir," and I'll go on, and I help them move on. Like I've had spirits trapped here, and um, I help them move on. They come to my house every session. Every time I go live on Tuesday, at the very end, I'm like, okay, how many spirits around me need help? And sometimes it's 2, 3, and sometimes it's 33. I've had up to 1,000. So, but
I'm going to give you a tip Spirit's telling me to share, and it's with a good friend of mine named Augie Nost. He has his own podcast called Broadcast Team Alpha, and he's been on the show a lot of times, and it was something Spirit reminded me of. He said, we're never, ever really ever trapped. And he said, if you're trying to help somebody to cross over, say maybe they've got a lot of fear or they can't see the light or whatever it is,
that's a
remind
lot
them.
of it. They can't see the light, and
Okay,
that's
but
what I
what
bring.
he
Yeah,
okay, but
that's what
he
I bring them. Yeah.
okay, so what he suggested is to have the spirit think of somebody they really love that's on the other side, maybe a
Oh,
mother or grandmother or father, whoever it is, and ask them, call out to them and ask them to come and get them. And I
yeah.
think that would be really helpful because working in palliative care, towards the end of life, most people talk about their loved ones and pets and things that are waiting for them before they cross over, right? So it's kind of cool because, like you said, they can't see the light, a lot of them.
No, that's what I tell them. I'm like, you have to open your eyes to let your soul see that light. And
Mhm.
I've heard this is painful for spirit because that's what my guides have told me before, that it's hard for them to open their eyes after they've been here for however long.
And
I
the
don't know
fear.
how long, because they won't answer the question. Like I try to ask about the loss and stuff, and they won't answer me. So I'm just like, so that's what they say. I'm like, if you can't do it, my spirit guides will help you to the ascension tube to my side. So I make a tube
Does
out
that
of the
make sense to you though? Like to
yeah,
think,
yeah.
get them to call out to someone they love, right? Because a lot of people stay
No, of
for a
course,
lot of
yeah.
reasons.
And
So
and that's what I want to do. That's what I do for them. I bring them that light that they've been missing and searching for.
yeah, because yeah, but I was thinking, like, say they can't see the light, or they're afraid to go, or they're afraid what awaits them. Most people have somebody that they've loved, and it's but not
Yeah.
everybody. Somebody's going to have some kind of relative on the other side, or a friend, or something that you could call out to, that you've known, that you could trust, that you love. So even if you couldn't see the light, you could call them and ask them to come and get you, right? And then they could accompany you over to the other side. So Chris says that you helped him with his uncle and
Yeah.
gave you some tips and stuff. Hi, Howie. Howie's here at
What's
Odell's.
up, Pat? My hat man. Yeah.
Oh, the hat man. Yeah. I was going to wear one of my crazy hats because I used to. And then we had another host on the network that was wearing her own hats. And I was here longer, but I don't want to look like I was copying. But Halloween's coming, so I'm wearing them. Curious, what if you love them, but they didn't love you? Well, that's the thing. Okay, I'll answer this and I'll ask Jonathon what he thinks. Okay, to me, we're not really ourself here. Okay, we're just we're an eternal soul having a human experience right now, but we're here to experience the depths of emotion. We're here to learn things. There's many reasons why we're here. But when we return, as I call it, going back home, right? We become who we really are, the true soul. So there is no such thing as I didn't love you. I never forgave you. I hate you. I'm angry. Those are human emotions. There's nothing but love on the other side. So I can't ever see that being a problem. It's a good question, though. Curious, what if you love them, but they didn't love you? Because there's nothing but love on the other side. I don't know, Jonathan, you want to add anything to that, or do you have a different perception of that? Or?
You nailed it on the head.
Mhm.
That's why I believe I was chosen to do what I do. Because when I first started this, like I really hated anybody that just blasted anything I said. I'm like, well, you weren't there. This, and like I would get upset. But now I welcome it and I use it as a lesson.
Mhm.
Um, so like if any skeptic said, well, this was happening, so then I'll take that to the next one. I'll be like, okay, they did this, but I do it with an open heart. Like I'll accept their criticism, and hopefully it will create their energy. Hey, he really does care because he's listening to me.
Yeah, but you
But
know what? When somebody's mean, we were talking a little bit about this before we went live. And when somebody's mean to somebody else, don't get me wrong, it hurts. It hurts everybody. I mean, we could get 1,000, whatever, like really nice words from people. And then one person will say something horrible. And what do we all focus on? The horrible, because it hurts. It cuts you to the core. But you know what? It really says more about that person than it does about you. I remember,
exactly, yeah.
yeah, one of my mentors said to me, um, what other people think of me is none of my business. And I remember at the beginning going, well, what do you mean it's none of my business? Of course I care if people like me, of course, but it really isn't any of my business, right? You
No,
got to, just like you
exactly.
said, you got to do what you're doing.
No, so like I'm thinking now, like I'm really getting into this quantum physics thing. Like the way I'm feeling now is like this is my universe. Like I'm welcoming Lorilei in, so she can ask me questions, and you can welcome in whoever you want, but just remember they're not attached to you. This is you can detach from them, and you can get rid of that energy. You can focus on you more, and I think I took that a lot for granted, and
But we
and that's
talked about this before too. We went on air, and I agree with you. And I said, Spirit shared this with me years ago, and it's what we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our
yes,
reality.
exactly.
But I also said,
Manifestation.
we
Yeah.
all don't know the bigger picture. So I said,
No,
if I was going to look at that, this would just be my perception. That's your perception. None is either right or wrong. It's just what maybe
this is
resonates.
how Spirit explained it to me, and I'm just here passing my message. Whether or not you choose to believe it, that's up
Okay,
to
but
you.
what I was going to add, we don't know the big picture, right?
No,
And
we
I
don't.
said,
There's
say you
too
get
many
somebody
unanswered.
that's really awful to you. You could have made a contract with that person before you both came into this lifetime. And then we have a choice with what that person does, right? Now, they could be there to give you that nudge to get you to
That
go out
you
in a
need. Yeah,
direction.
you never know. Yeah. They might be that next step to the stool, but it's kind of creaky, but you got to take that step anyway to go forward.
But maybe, okay, so I'm going to take an example.
Yeah.
Now, you've got, and this isn't a right or wrong answer, but you've got something really horrible. We've been talking about true crime. Say so, there's parents and they've lost their child.
Yeah.
Okay, the child was murdered. I have seen some incredible things that parents, through the depths of absolute, there aren't even words to explain the pain that they're feeling, but through their pain, right, that they were, it was done by somebody that did something so horrible,
Yeah.
they had a choice. They could be miserable for the rest of their lives, hell bent on revenge, hatred, and the whole bit. Or you see people that are able to take that experience and create something incredible that helps a lot of other people that may be having, a terrible experience like that. Like I've seen people create support groups or law changes because of something that happened. You see what I'm saying? So if you made that contract, maybe, believe it or not, for that horrible event to happen, and it's hard for us to wrap our minds around that, but I'm saying that it gave those parents the choice. Either, again, do I go to hatred and revenge and what have you, or do I use this experience to create something that could help a heck of a lot more people? And there's no right or wrong answer, but this is where I'm
No,
going
there's not.
with
There's not.
horrible person that comes into your life that does something so unexplainable and evil. And
Yeah.
people, do you see where I'm going with this? So,
Yeah, that was my Wichita Falls case.
excuse me.
16-year-old girl calls me out of the blue or emails me out of the blue. Hey, I'm being touched in the shower. Doors are opening. I'm seeing shadows, and my mom was murdered in the house a month ago, and I saw everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my most emotional case. And I love that family. Like, when I went there, I knew I was going to help them. Like, I was like, this is it. And that was actually the very first time, like, on during the live session, like, I started hearing the voices more, and the voices started making themselves more present. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I got the clip. Let me see if I have it. But yeah, I had 10 people sitting behind me on that case, and it was just crazy. Like, they saw
Well, it's
everything
crazy.
I
But what we were talking about, and I said, let's go live and we can talk about some of these things because, so again, and it might be semantics in language. And again, I really, really want to reiterate for people listening, there is no right or wrong answer. I love
no,
what Jonathan said about it's my universe because, yes, we are all creators. We can all manifest and create what we really wish to create, right? But then there's boundaries. But what I was trying to just point out, and again, I could be all wrong. I don't have all the answers, but to me, sometimes when we choose that we're not going to have a certain experience or a certain person be in there, maybe they were really meant to be in there. And I just gave a really extreme, example because we don't see the bigger picture, why these things are happening or why it would be nice if we did. It would be nice if we had a roadmap, but we don't. So
we're
the other
not
thing,
that lucky.
oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I said we're not that lucky. Like, I feel a lot of the times like I'm shooting in the dark, and I kind of doubt myself, and then I remember the doubt is what's making you feel so nervous. So just don't doubt yourself. Just do it, you know?
Yeah, but you're also human too, right?
Yeah.
So there's a thing I really believe in, and we are our own worst enemies. That inner voice the things we say to ourselves that most decent human beings would not say to another person. And we say it to ourselves. And so one of the things, and I have to remind myself of this lots too, is to give ourselves grace, right? We
Yeah.
we we give grace to others, and we have to do that. Now, before you play this, I see that, and we are going to get to it.
No, I just put it in there for you.
Okay, awesome. Because we talked about, you had said sometimes with these sessions, you feel quite depleted at times.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Like,
then
if
you
I
put
do,
your bubble up, if you want to explain what that is. And then you say you feel like the connection isn't as deep. So we talked a little bit about that. We said we'd talk about it tonight. So do you want to share that?
yeah. Yeah. So, when I'm sitting here, before my episode starts, I'll come down an hour before I start the episode, and I'll ground myself, just get a feel for the room. Is everything okay? And then I'll open up the portals. I'll open up my spirit boxes and just let them play while I'm listening to music, because that's how I meditate. Like, I put a
Mhm.
frequency mixed in with my music, so that's kind of my trigger, like, to help notice these voices. And once I hear them start talking, I'm like, okay. So I start messing with them, like I'm dancing to music, throwing darts or stuff back there, listening
So
to
you're
them talk.
raising your vibration in this spiritual
Yeah,
terminology.
yeah. And I have my shoes off, and like tomorrow's episode, like, tomorrow will be the first time that I'm gonna get rid of this bench, and I'm gonna ground my spine to the ground, because they said that's what will raise your antenna more. I was like, okay, I'll try it. So that's what I heard last week. So I'm
Exactly.
gonna give it a try and see how crazy tomorrow
But you
will be.
said sometimes you feel really depleted.
Depleted, yeah, yeah.
So
And
go ahead.
it's because I allow myself. I'm like, okay, if it's gonna help you speak clear, you can use my energy. But usually I'll only do that one session on Tuesdays. But, like, the last 2 weeks, I've been doing 2 to 3 sessions, and it's like, when I meditate, I feel grounded, and I can feel this energy around me, and I know it's there. And it's just after these sessions, I just get so depleted. I don't think.
Okay,
That's
so
why I
these
have to learn patience, because I'm so anxious to talk to spirit.
okay, but these are just a few suggestions for people listening. And again, I don't have all the answers, but um, no, how you'll know who I'm talking about, Dr. Chuck Kennedy. He's actually a nurse, but he's got a doctorate in the neural sciences. He's actually been able to prove, he believes, where the psychic ability is located. He calls it the region of psi, which is located behind the left ear.
Yeah.
He's done quite a bit of research, and especially for people that do readings, like say David and I, within about 30 minutes into a reading, he's measured blood sugar and was amazed how low people's blood sugar actually drops. Like that's how much energy it takes within about 30 minutes. So he always
Wow.
suggests eating something sweet or having chocolate on hand. One of the number one things I know is, you, especially you mentioned you're empathic. Many of us in this field are. So it's very important to ground before, and then say you were going to do 2 or 3 sessions, or say you're starting to feel depleted, to reground again. Okay, clear your energy. You can clear the energy a bit. Try a few different things like Palo Santo, maybe some crystals.
Yeah.
I know crystals really can help increase the energy and the antenna, as you called it, or amplitude to connect to the other side. You may have to play with a few, and you may have a regular grounding routine. Okay. But
I
sometimes you have
do.
to use different things. Like sometimes you have to go outside, sometimes even hugging a tree, imagining tree roots. And I always used to imagine it growing through my body. And somebody who uses a different technique suggested, imagine it coming from source or connection to home, whatever you want to call it, coming through the top of your head, or as we call it, the crown chakra, going all the way through your body, down through your feet, and growing super thick. You're going to imagine, picture, sense, feel these thick roots connecting into the center of the earth. And it doesn't take long to do that. You can very quickly, I will share what I do. I do exactly what I said. Imagine the tree roots. Now I call earth Gaia for me. So I
Okay.
imagine Gaia as for me, it's female. So I literally imagine those tree roots connecting into her heart chakra in the center of the earth. And I
Hmm.
ask her to take what no longer serves me for my highest good and positivity and love, ask her to alchemize it and release it for others. Okay. Because I believe that's why we need to be grounded. Okay. Like you're angry, you're anxious, you're upset, you're nervous, whatever that is. That's why it's important to ground. And then I also ask her to send me back up through those roots whatever I need. So I literally, it happens in seconds, and it's literally just picturing it or sensing or feeling it. And I actually ask her, this came from spirit, to send it up all the way up to my crown chakra. And then it's almost like the tree of life. All these golden threads
Yeah.
all come out
Yeah.
and all wrap around me. And then
Right.
I continue the connection to source up above. Now, I don't know if that will help anybody, but I'm taking direction from spirit right now because I'm clairaudient. I know you know this, Jonathan, for people listening. So if that might resonate with you, try it yourself, see if it might work. But there's many different ways to ground. I know you got stuff to say. Sorry.
No, every time you've been talking, like when you mentioned the roots and stuff, like I instantly got this image of just roots just full
Yeah.
force into the ground, and I'm like, what the heck? And
Yeah.
I think that's what spirit's telling me. You gotta really push it in there. So I was like,
You
all right.
do. And then the reason why, but I'm a really visual type person. That's why when I'm talking to someone, like I've even sometimes if I'm doing something live, I haven't done on this show, but I'll just take it from spirit and do a meditation and walk people through a meditation, for example.
Yeah.
But I will always say imagine, sense, or feel, because some people aren't really visual. But with the tree roots, it makes sense, right? And if you're really
No, it
feeling
does.
off
Yeah.
kilter, you can make them, like you said, you're the master of your universe. Make them as thick as you want. Make it doesn't have to be Gaia. It could be a crystal. You could make an electrical socket, whatever you want. But you really want to picture yourself being really connected to the earth, and then send what no longer serves you. You're feeling depleted, send that tiredness to the earth or Gaia, because I always imagine the earth almost like the relationship we have with trees. Like, trees take our carbon dioxide and they alchemize it into oxygen for us. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's how I Gaia or Earth, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if that'll resonate with people, but like if you're finding, because I'm guessing you may need, like you say, you can do one session and you're not really depleted. And you said you put up your energy bubble or like a shield, but you said, I think the word you said it, you feel like the communication isn't as good. Is that what you said?
Like if I sit there in a session, and I start to feel weak, in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's put our bubble on. And then that's when I'll notice like the voices are getting a little weaker through them. And I'm like, okay, I've taken enough break, take it off, and I'll go back. And it's weird. The people come back and get the answers.
No, you have an incredible connection. So I don't know, maybe your blood sugar is dipping too with it, especially if you are letting
it could be. I like I said, I just sit there with my eyes closed, and the things I see when my eyes are closed it's like, you're supposed to see just black, right? I see colors, I see rooms, I see and I asked my wife and my son one time to do it. I'm like, close your eyes, what do you see? And they're like, just black. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, what do you see? Like with your eyes, like just black. I'm like, okay. And when I do it, I see like white flashes, red triangle or something like, and it's starting to turn into shapes now.
You've done some work on it versus most people, when they close their eyes, they go to sleep. But if you meditate and you practice with it, that's when all these things start coming. And you
I don't know what I woke up in my brain, but I'm loving it. So
we all have that ability too. That's what I love. It's just it's like a muscle, right? And we have to, like, you've been working that muscle. So okay, you uploaded all these things. What do you want to play first?
Whatever you want. The one with the purple in the background.
Sorry?
Background, that's from that Wichita Falls case.
Okay, you want to play that one first?
Yeah, let's do that one first.
Okay, I'm going to try and pause it. Hang on. Pause.
I'm not sure how long it is.
Okay. Well, we won't play it super. Okay, so Sandra says, before we start, green after images she sees, white flashes,
colorful swirls. Yeah. I see that too sometimes, and like I'll see black and white of a room. Like I'll see the outline of a person, whether they're happy, they're white. If they're black, they're not too happy, and I see all sorts of weird shit. Like, I love closing my eyes.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you start doing it. I forgot. See, I'm so excited by this conversation. I'm supposed to say this every hour. But anyways, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. And my amazing guest is Jonathon Keyworth. We're talking about connection to the other side, communication, the whole bit. And you're listening to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, also known as United Public Radio Network, or just UPRN. And we're broadcasting to you out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana at 105.3 and 107.7 FM, and actually to every country in the world. So I want to give a huge shout out to Joe Montaldo, who owns the network. Without him, we would not be doing this. He has his own amazing shows. On Wednesday night, he's got UFO Undercover. Friday night, he does more of a political panel with the Centralist. And he still does, I think he even still does a bit of producing here and there, but yeah, he's pretty awesome. So I want to thank him. So I'm gonna just answer these very quickly before we play this. So apparently some people can't visualize. That is absolutely true. What have you found, Jonathon?
Yeah, I used to care a lot what people thought and stuff about me, and I used to care what their words meant. But now I learned that by putting my belief in myself, and I put my belief in what I do, is that it doesn't matter what they think. It's your universe. The reason you're caring about what they think is because you're only letting it. So, by getting that squared away with my heart, now my mind's starting to wake up to these feelings that I have in the rest of my body. So that's why these visualizations, are starting to enhance, is because I'm starting not to stress about everything. I'm learning to live in the now and not plan for the future. Don't worry about the past. You can't change it anyway. So if you just live in the now, that leaves so much more room in your mind to focus on what you want to focus on.
Well, sometimes when the worst things that happen in life, and when you look back on them, sometimes it takes time. I can honestly tell you, when I've had some really bad things happen, I haven't had a lot, thankfully, but I've had some things. And then a little bit of time has passed and I've looked back and I've been able to look and go, oh, that's why that needed to happen, so that I could be where I am right now. And that's all we have is the now. I agree. Now, to answer Mish's question, the reason why I will usually say to somebody, imagine, sense, feel, or see, as I maybe say I'm doing a guided meditation or I'm talking about something, I'm going to add that. Hang on. I'm just answering.
I would do the other. Just do the other one. That one's funner anyway.
No, hang on. So that's why, right? Because everybody's brain is different. Some people are very visual. Some people need to hear it. Some people need to read it. And some people, I think as a child, we all have an imagination, but as we get older, a lot of us forget how to play and a lot of us forget how to use our imagination. So, yes. So, thank you, Mary. She said you both are very blessed. That's very kind.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, no, we're going to play this, Jonathan. So, I got it. I had it. And then you.
This one's long. I don't know if that's the right clip I wanted to share. We
You
do
think
the
you got
other
a different one?
now. Let me find another one.
Or do you want me to play the Danilo Cavalcante and we'll just sort of skip through it?
Yeah, if you want to do that one,
okay.
We'll do that one first.
So those
you
of you
can
just
fast forward until the lights go out.
Okay, so Jonathan and I did this like an Estes method. I'm going to pause it for a second. Did you pause it? No, I guess I did maybe. So we did this about a week and a half ago while he was missing. And what the Estes method was, you didn't put a blindfold on, but it didn't matter.
I always
right?
close my eyes anyway.
Yeah, that's what he said. So he had noise cancellation headphones on and he was listening to the spirit box and I was asking questions. So Jonathan could not hear what I was saying. And if you're just tuning in, you had said you got all kinds of stuff you picked up when you re-listened.
Yeah, that's weird. Like hearing what you actually said and what I was saying was
I told you it made quite a bit of sense.
Weird. Can I ask? Yeah, that was the first time I ever done that. So
I hadn't done Estes before either.
I can't hear.
You can't hear? Can you be a little bit more specific? Again, we're looking for the location of Danilo Santo Cavalcante.
Help him.
Help him is what you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where is he located in Pennsylvania? He's an escaped murderer. There's a manhunt for him. Can you let us know where he is located?
I'm here.
Can you tell me who I'm here is? What's your name? Is Danilo Cavalcante, is he in the water following the river?
He's near.
He's near the river, okay. Pause this for 1 sec. So, yeah. Did we ever get any names? I don't think we did. They would never tell us.
Towards the end, I think we did, or in the middle.
What was there was one guy's name that came through besides I Am the Devil that sounded like Del Mar at the end of it.
Bob. His name was Bob or something, and you're like, what's his name? And I think I said Bob, and you're like, who's Bob?
Yeah, because we weren't sure who was coming through. What's this? you know what? You've got do you have this uploaded so people could go have a listen? Because I don't want to play, because I'd like to get onto the talk about a little bit about Alan Greenberg's case.
Oh, okay. Here, let me
Well,
just fast forward.
we're going to talk about it. We just got to be careful. So, do you have this
I'll be a good
uploaded?
boy, I promise.
Do you have this uploaded, Jonathan?
That next clip is my favorite one so far.
Okay, no, but this one I just played, the one that you
and
I
yeah, just hit play again. Let's see where we're at. Yeah.
No, but do you have it uploaded like on your YouTube?
Oh,
or your
no.
No? Maybe
No.
we'll have to upload it for you guys. But is there something you want me to play from there?
Oh, I just wanted to hear that
Why
one
can't
part.
law enforcement find him?
This isn't that long, I don't think.
I help you?
Yes, I really appreciate. I know Jonathan does too with your help.
I gotta run him? Okay.
So Jonathan can't hear me asking anything. He's repeating.
If I heard a word or a sentence, that's what I repeated, like instantly. Can. Oh. Yeah, they said they could help. I don't know. I'll have to make a clip of it.
See if you can make a clip of it, because some people, it's hard for people sometimes to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this one? Your favorite clip? This other one you uploaded?
Yeah, it was a session from session number 7.
With Ellen?
About 2 weeks ago with Ellen. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to give a little bit of? You got to be careful about what you say.
No,
but
yeah. So if you haven't heard of
important.
the Ellen Greenberg case, we'll just tell you what everything's out in the papers. Is she was a 27-year-old school teacher. She died January 26, 2011 in a horrible way. And the courts declared it a suicide, and the family doesn't believe it as well.
I'm going to cut in for a minute because I don't know why people are not focusing on this. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was labeled that she unalived herself. Now, this woman was stabbed 20 times, 10 in the front of her chest and 10 in the back of her upper back, neck, and scalp.
Head, yeah.
But 2 of those wounds, some of the deepest into her scalp, were obtained after she died. How can you stab yourself, never mind in that location, but twice after you have died? And that means that the cause of death is a suicide. So what I will add, she was engaged to be married. There was a lot of, you can see all this if you look up Gavin Fish on YouTube. He knows the case very well. Now her mother and father, she was an only child. Her mother and father, Josh and Sandy Greenberg, have spent over, I think, is it close to $1 million trying to at least get
all their savings, everything.
To get reopened or at least cause unknown. And there is a lot of fishy details with what is going on with this, how the whole investigation was handled, and it continues. So if you guys can please take the time to have a look at this quickly, familiarize yourself, tell people about it. These people need help and support. So Jonathan, you've been connecting with, and I'll put the ball in your court about what you've been doing with these sessions.
Yeah. So on the first session, I was working on the Don Lewis case. If you don't know who Don Lewis was, it's that whole Joe erotic guy, the Carol Baskins. Mm-hmm. And I got a great thing on that last one. It's on my videos. The TV turned off behind me when I asked a question, and it was crazy. But I had felt that Ellen needed my help. I saw the family on the news channel, and they were asking for help. to sign the petition because of the way her daughter died, as we all explained, and they want it investigated. But as long as it's ruled a suicide, the police won't investigate it because it's a suicide. So I just kept going and going, and every week my connection to her gets stronger and stronger. And the first clip is session 7.
I'll get it.
Yeah, it's the one right next to my picture. This one. Yeah.
Hang on, I want to pause it. Okay, is there anything else you wanted to add with it, Jonathan?
No, I was just gonna say, I do the session. I don't do my editing. I would rather have somebody else that didn't watch the live do it. So, if it correlates, it correlates. And so my buddy in Connecticut, he's the one that does all this editing. So, and he never watches the lives. So we do that on purpose.
But you do this live when you record it, so it's not like so you're trying not to taint anything that comes through, is what you're saying. You're trying to keep it
that I can't add the stuff into it. If you go back to the live versions, you'll hear it, but when we do these videos, it's just cleaned up a little bit, as far as the noise and stuff. So.
Now, her fiance's name is Sam. He has some relatives that are very, very high up in Pennsylvania, we'll say government and such. And because again, we're dealing with Pennsylvania, which is kind of unusual. That's where the Danilo Cavalcante case was. So, okay. So you want me to play this clip?
Yeah, you can play that. That's cool.
Can you tell me what room in the apartment you died in? What room did you die in?
Here. Okay, I'm going to pause that so people can read that. So I'll read it to you. Unbelievably, when John asks what room Ellen's spirit died in, a voice comes through and says bathroom. And I could hear it. It was very, very clear. But what we want to add to this case, that Ellen was found sitting up in her kitchen. And I'm not trying to give trigger warning for anybody, but that may be triggered by this, but she had some blood on her, I believe it was her cheek. And if she had been sitting up, the flow of gravity. Go ahead, John.
On her right side, I believe, was covered in different bruises, different variations.
Oh, I know. I was going to get to that. But the blood the way she was found, the blood should have been dripping with gravity. It wasn't. It was going opposite to what gravity was. Yes, the bruises, there were quite a few bruises that occurred long before this very tragic event, that they're guessing possibly maybe there was more involved prior to what had happened to Ellen that day, right?
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
So she just confirmed, whomever answered from the spirit side, that she didn't lose her life in the kitchen. According to spirit, this sounds like it was in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Is this another one?
No, just play the rest of that so they can hear the bathroom again.
Okay. I just want to play it.
Yeah, that's the clearest I ever got. I've ever heard through that spirit box.
That was pretty clear.
Can you tell me what room in the apartment you died in?
I'm trying to play it. Sorry.
You died in?
Oh, you can stop it. We can do the next one.
Okay, we heard. Thank you. It does not stop playing. That wasn't me. Yeah, but you know what? Like sometimes, like I'm telling you, I never did EVPs, but mentioned Jason Bland at the beginning of the show. And when I called into his show 2 Halloweens in a row, That was so freaking clear, and it was intelligent communication. It was the creepiest voice I have ever heard in my life. There was no doubt what you were hearing, just like with Bathroom with you, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to play the other one now?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys, please look into this. This family really needs a lot of help. Ellen was Josh and Sandy's only child. Um, on top of that, they're retired. They're getting older. Like Jonathan said, they have used all their savings. There's a GoFundMe, isn't there, Jonathan, to support them?
Yeah, it's on Gavin Fish's page. You can leave tips and stuff and donations, or it all goes to the families. He does so many cold cases. Like the guy's amazing that he puts that much time and effort. Like he uses his own money to buy all the files from the court and just to make sure they're online.
And those are expensive. Those are not cheap things too. So
I think on the Ellen case, he spent $600.
Like these people really need help, and this case needs publicity, because I can't even imagine what these people are going through, and they've been silenced at every turn, and they just lost a court case. Like, what if I remember correctly, the judges that looked at it said, yeah, basically this was a very poorly handled investigation, but we can't help you.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. And they can help. They can.
They won't.
They can overturn it and be like, we want a outside designator to relook at the coroner reports. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize what really happened.
I said that to you right off air. I said it does not. You don't have to know anything about crime, true crime. You see the Gavin's made it pretty succinct to hear the whole case in a nutshell. And I am telling you, you will see the writing on the wall. I think a 6-year-old could see it when you hear, and with evidence. Like, it's not hard to see all this, right?
I would say if I were to do it, I could maybe do it twice. I don't think you could do it 20 times.
Mm-mm. Not to yourself, no. And didn't Gavin and his wife try, because there was something about the lock on the door? Like, Gavin guy.
They made YouTube videos of him breaking the door down. He went and got the exact same wood and stuff. He even, I think, got heavier wood and tried to kick it down, and it looked nothing like the picture in the police photo.
Well, we should explain a little bit for people. So the fiance, apparently there was a snowstorm, so Ellen was home apparently making a fruit salad. I don't know if they were going somewhere for dinner or the next day.
Well, they had reservations, or somebody called a restaurant at 2:30 that day. It was the Vitri restaurant.
Okay, because but that's supposedly what she was doing, and the fiance was supposedly, his name was Sam. He was going to the gym, but I understand he was wearing some kind of like work boots or something, but he was gone a half hour, and he said he couldn't get in the door, so we had to break the door down. Wasn't that what happened?
Yeah, so at let's see, at 3:00 is when she tells me she died, is when she was first stabbed. And her computer and everything, he leaves the apartment at 4:36, right around there, and he goes down for about half an hour to the gym, tries to come back up. And the thing is, when he went back up, he uses his phone to call a very renowned prosecutor in Philadelphia.
Aren't they related, or they're family friends or something like that?
He doesn't call. It's his uncle. I don't know the names. I'm not going to say the names, but
no, don't say the name. I said we have to be careful with the name.
He called the uncle, and the uncle,
didn't he come there?
Cousin called him back like 4 minutes later, and then he called the police, and then, that the uncle or the lawyer got there 2 minutes before the police did. So he didn't have to answer a question.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with this case. Like I had said to Jonathan, we have to be careful what we say, but whatever's said through the ghost box, hey, we got no control. It comes through the ghost box.
Yeah.
So you want me to play this clip?
Yeah. So this is when I ask Ellen if she has any message for her parents, Josh and Sandy.
I'm going to play it. I just got to let my cat out. She's sitting right there and she's going to be
Rick Greenberg, is there any message that I can pass on to your dad and mom, Josh and Sandy? What do you want to tell them?
I'll pause it so we can read that. So it says, as John asks if there's any message, Ellen's spirit would like to tell her family it's still playing, sorry. When two responses come through, one says, I do, followed by go get 'em. And then what was the other part? I missed it. Sorry. What did it say? I do. Okay. And then, I had it. Sorry. I'll just hold it there. I was there. Okay.
We'll get him. Could she be talking about whoever killed her?
Okay. And is there more or just repeating? Is it just repeating?
It's just going to repeat the response.
Well, I'm going to play it because it's easier to hear.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you, Andy? What do you, Andy? What do you?
Now listen to the second response. Could she be trying to tell her family to go get him, meaning the person who took her life? And then he said,
Ellen Rick Greenberg, is there any message that I can pass on to your dad and mom, Josh and Sandy? What do you want to tell them?
That was fun.
Yeah.
And Chris says, amazing.
Ellen Rick Greenberg.
There we go.
I think Ellen really wants us to listen because I kept pushing remove, and it would remove, and it would play again.
No, yeah, Chris. Like I said, I don't catch him. It's the guy AJ. It's AJ, my buddy, man, my best bud. He's the one that does the editing. You know.
Oh, is it AJ that's doing the editing?
Yeah. I don't do the editing.
You guys may not know. AJ's been on the Angel Rock before, AJ Capasso. Okay, so it's AJ that does it. You couldn't have a better person to do it for you.
No. And I know he doesn't watch the live at all because he's working. So you know that makes it even better. So because he pulls the video right off of our StreamYard, because we share the StreamYard, and that's the one he uses. And I'll usually have my GoPro there and one up here pointing because I had a cozy fly across one day, and I missed it because I didn't have a camera in the right place. And so I got all these other angles that I can send to him if he wants, and improve, okay, well, here's the timestamp, it matches with the live time. And okay,
so Chris says, I watched Jonathon on that other episode and heard about the beeps, and now it's so easy. So what is he talking about with the beeps?
Well, so when I asked Spirit a question on the Spirit box going, I know I won't get a response until I hear this beep beep, and if you play the other clips, you'll hear the beep beep. If you play one of them again, you'll hear it. But I think that's when Spirit's telling me, here's your answer. Okay, you got to be patient and wait. So.
Do you want me to start it from the beginning?
If you want, yeah, you can play that first one.
Let's play it the once so we can hear these beeps. But hang on. Add to stage.
Can you tell me what room in the apartment you died in? What room did you die in?
Oh,
there.
okay. That's not part of the app, Jonathan?
Oh, no, I so for the last year and a half, I haven't had that sound come through. And then all of a sudden it came back. So
Interesting. Okay, so now I have some questions for you. I was thinking of. So, have you been in contact with Gavin or Sandy and Josh, Ellen's parents, at all? Or
no, I put a comment on the Surviving the Survivor. They were on there. I put in the comments, I love you guys. Anything I can do to help. Just want to let you know, Elaine said she loves you and to go get him. So,
or Ellen?
I leave it at that. I'm not going to force myself on them. I figure if spirit wants them to join my universe, they'll give them signs.
I might tag them in this because I've tagged them before when I've talked about their case.
Yeah.
And they're
I tagged Justice for Ellen on every one of those
I was
clips.
just going to say that Justice for Ellen Greenberg is a Facebook page, and they did answer me back privately. They were really sweet, the people that run the page for her. So, but even if, regardless of what Jonathan's receiving from the paranormal, just to even get the word out there to people, whether you believe in the paranormal or not, just to get attention to her case, because this is over 10 years ago. Her parents have been fighting. Yeah. So what do you got coming up? Like, is there other cases you're working on?
So tomorrow at noon Mountain Time, that's 2 p.m. Eastern, I'll be going live doing session number 9 for Ellen.
For Ellen?
Like I said, I'll be getting rid of my bench and sitting Indian style to see if that will ground my spine. That's what Spirit's telling me to do. So maybe we'll get some clearer responses. Who knows? But that's what I do. I just kind of mess around each session, see what works.
How long are they? How long are your sessions?
My longest episode was 35 minutes, so it's not long. I know it's lunchtime for people out here and stuff. So
Right.
if they wanted to watch something quick on their lunch, you can do it. But if you miss it, you know what? It's recorded. You can play it back anytime if you're that interested in it.
Interesting.
I just do what they say. They said make it at this
time.
time.
Other physical signs, though, like with Ellen in particular. Like I know you said you had a cozy fly across and stuff. Like, do you get any apparitions at all, or?
I've seen 2 in my life.
Interesting. But, can you share?
Yeah. The first one was in my first case when I went to that house, and in the room I stayed in, it smelled like rotting meat. And, I stayed there 5 days and I got rid of the thing and they said they were good. And, but that got me, man. I was just finishing doing a K2 meter sweep, and I was coming back to my room, and there's
you might have to tell people what that is.
It's like a hallway, okay? So I'm coming around into the hallway. My room's off to the left. There's another room off to the right. So as I look off to the right, I see this white body of a female, and she's sitting there with her arms crossed, just looking out the window. And I was like, nope. And I went right into my room.
No, but I was going to say you might have to tell people what a K2 meter is. Paranormal equipment is.
Basically measures electronic frequency. So, like, if you move it towards your phone, there's more electromagnetic. It goes up. But yeah, I was just going around the house, and it was green the whole way. So I was like, okay, time for bed. And as I was walking down the hall, I looked to the right, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I said, nope. And I went into my room and shut the door, put my headphones on, and just laid there. I was like, that thing better not come in here because I don't know how to deal with that yet. So, but it ended up being her mom. That was her mom that passed in that room. And I actually the next morning I told her about it, and She said, "Yeah, that's the room my mom died in." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went into
nice
the
to
room.
know.
Yeah, I put a cat ball in the center of the room. I said, Sharon, Sharon, if you're still here, can you make that cat ball go off? And it just started going off. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop going off for like 10 minutes.
So people that don't know what a cat ball is.
Oh yeah. These
Remember, not
devices
everybody's
here.
watching too. We got people listening. So
Yeah. So it lights up when you shake it or touch it.
it's a
So
cat
that's the
toy.
only it's the only way it will go off is if you touch it or tap it.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of flashing lights and things like
Mhm.
that. Because we got a lot of people that are listening or on the replay, and they'll go, "What?" And a lot of people, believe it or not, I have found a lot of people have found the show. At least mine, I know. They're just dialing around on YouTube looking for stuff, and they go, "Oh, this looks interesting."
Yeah, they're laughing, having a good time.
I met this, he's a friend of mine now, and he's in Austria. Sometimes with the time change, sometimes he'll pop in here, and he does some pretty interesting investigations. But what he does is he uses a Ouija board and
Okay.
but with a K2 meter to
Oh, really?
he does the sweep first. And then as he's connecting to the other side, he's got some pretty interesting things on camera too, let me tell you. Oh,
I
Chris,
just
you're
tell
so
you, it's all about you. If you believe in you, that if you believe you can help the spirit, then help the spirit. If you believe it, it will happen. That's the
he's
thing.
got that kind of heart too. But
Yeah.
uh, the one thing he caught, I remember, that's so nice. You, Chris Binder says you two
Oh,
are so cool.
thanks,
Oh,
brother.
you're so sweet. No, he caught this picture. He was in this really haunted, I think it was, because you got to remember over in Europe, right? Like the architecture
Yeah.
and everything, they're so old. Um, Kevin Z Sun Dragon says, interesting stuff, guys. Thanks for sharing. Well, we appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Thanks, son.
he was in there and he said he was getting a really strong K2 reading, and they were getting a lot of communication through the Ouija board. And then people were snapping pictures, and there was this big, it almost looked like an orb or ball of light going towards his back. And all of a sudden, he had really bad pain in his back, and his back was bothering him for about a week after. It wasn't a scratch, wasn't a burn or anything like that. So it's interesting to hear, though, because over here, especially I think with the ghost shows, people use the same equipment and same methods versus I don't think I've ever heard of somebody doing investigations utilizing a K2 with a Ouija board to confirm whether
Right.
it's activity. Have you?
And I personally haven't.
I
I've
hadn't
dealt
either.
with two of my cases where with Ouija boards, they would continue to leave the planchette open without saying goodbye. And so it just basically like a spirit box going all the time. So
Mhm.
I was like, you can't do this, okay? So I sealed it off. And then I talked to the spirits that were in their homes. I said, do you need help moving on? What's your problem? Can you go? Or
Mhm.
and it was the house in Vermilion, Kansas, and the one in my hometown. So
Mhm.
yeah, those are on my YouTube if you want to see them.
Oh, interesting. Because no one's really ever trapped here forever, right? But for whatever
No,
reason.
I think they got sucked in, into a place where they didn't know where they were, and that's why they're pissed off, or stuff starts happening because they don't know where the hell they are.
Well,
I don't
there's
know. I
that.
don't know how it works. That's the thing is, I just know there's somebody there that needs help, and
Well,
that's what
I
I.
had a friend that I never thought was really ever really kind of been involved in the paranormal, and she's a pretty gifted medium. And then she told me a story because she's immigrated to Canada, married a Canadian, and they were out on the eastern coast, and because they would travel, her husband does past life regressions, and she's a medium and future life progressions and things like that. So they would travel all over. And I guess there was going to be a paranormal investigation at a notoriously, I think it was like a haunted pub or something. And she said she had never seen anything like this. She agreed to go. And she refers to it almost like if you've seen the movie The Abyss, like with the creature that was kind of water like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She said she could see this thing and it actually had trapped other spirits down in the basement, not allowing them to leave because it needed to be fed, right? So it was feeding off their energy and their fear. That's why it was trapping it. So, and she was, I have great respect for people that do this. And she said, this is not my area of expertise. I don't deal with these kind of things. But Spirit on the other side was able to suggest whom they would need to look for, what kind of person to come in, release this thing, and then all the other spirits could leave. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day when Spirit's like, I'm on the JK-47 page. That's who you need to call. But if I believe it will happen.
Excuse me, you won't be calling Ghostbusters, they'll be calling Jonathan.
They'll be calling me now.
No, I just thought that was so interesting because actually I find a lot of people in the paranormal are interested in solving mysteries, but in a way, or true crime. But if you think about it, right, that's kind of what we're doing with the paranormal. We're trying to get answers to the unexplained, right?
No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think my brother told me something when he died, and he got in trouble because I couldn't reach him for like 3 months or something.
That's what you said, yes.
Yeah, and I think he did it because he loves me so much, and he got in trouble with Source. I don't know how that works. It's like ghost police or something.
Well, I don't know. Like I say, we can't have all the answers until we all, I think, or won't have all the answers till we go back home. I don't know if you could get in trouble, but where I've had problems with that I'm still trying to figure out. Now, being raised Roman Catholic, I have no problem with religions. Some people need it. I no longer subscribe to being the dogma of Roman Catholicism. But being raised that way, purgatory was mentioned, and I don't know if I really believe in that. Yet I have run into spirits, being a medium and working with other mediums, that it seems almost like there is a place like that. Now, have you come across anything like that?
Yeah, basically what I've got from Spirit is what they can say is that when you pass, you're given the option to go towards the light and continue your spiritual journey, or turn around and explore the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah, I think, well, there is no time and space on the other side, so
that's why I said, like, mysteries of the universe, or go finish your journey towards
purgatory. So purgatory, depending on your beliefs, and yes, I agree, Chris, it was a great movie, Dogma, but it's a place where you go, if you will, to almost make like atonement and healing, and like it's like a cooling off kind of waiting period before you go to, if you believe it's heaven or wherever you believe it is.
I think that's where we're at now. I think you're in your cocoon now, and this is everything you're supposed to learn.
I think Earth is a school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what? This went by way too fast. I'm so glad that you came on, Jonathan, tonight. I look forward to it.
Anytime.
I'm going to have you back on. I think what we're going to do, I don't know what, I'm looking at Halloween. Last year I had a Halloween show, and I had David on because I knew my guest had canceled. So I know Dave and I are thinking up a few things for the week before Halloween, because Halloween's on a Tuesday. So that means Monday night I'm on Gate Night, or October 30th, I believe.
Yeah.
So we got to do something for Halloween. So maybe we'll do a panel. I don't know. You all let me know what you guys want to see for Halloween if you can. So first of all, I'm going to let Jonathan know everywhere where to find him, how to get a hold of him.
Oh, man. You just Google JK-47 Paranormal and investigations, and you'll see all my YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Just Google it or search me. I'm not going to do the work for you. I share my stuff everywhere anyway. So if you haven't seen
went and took your link from your Facebook page, because I always
I share I love your other show, The Foot at the End of the Bed. I love that, the things at the end of the bed.
I appreciate
you and Dave are awesome.
Well, thank you. We appreciate all of you. I always say we wouldn't have a show if we didn't have all you wonderful people that are listening and those of you who can participate in the chat. So with that being said, please stay tuned for Thursday when David Hansel and I will be back with the thing at the foot of the bed, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, you guys, I wrote this down. I got to find out. Haunted items. I think you guys were asking about it. We got off on another discussion last week. So I told Dave I was writing it down. So I'm going to remind him, because we were going to start to talk about dolls. And then we got off on a whole different tangent because we go where you guys want to go. Where you guys want to talk, what you guys got questions about, that's where we go with things. Otherwise, I will be back next week, Monday, with the Angel Rock, same time, same space, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. Will not be on YouTube. Hopefully on Facebook. It's going to say mystery guest because it's somebody who has been on my show many years ago, and mainstream doesn't necessarily like them coming on, but we're going to be talking about a brand new healing device that is out there that I've been hearing quite a bit about. So that's why they're coming on. So just to be warned, you will be able, hopefully, to be able to see them on Facebook. If not, I may try and stream it to LinkedIn or possibly to our Roku channel next week. Okay. Otherwise, I see you guys got some suggestions. Kevin says, Halloween ghost and spooky stories shared from you in the audience. You have a few. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll even have a panel together, a bunch of paranormal people. We'll get a bunch of people like yourself, and we'll see who else can come on. I don't know what it'll be, but if you want to see, I like the scary stories if you want to submit stories. So if you want to get a hold of me, guest suggestion, show idea, you want to book a reading with me, I do energy healing sessions, I do mentoring. Get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for more of the spiritual type things that we also touched on tonight. Lastly, you guys stay tuned. If you're loving the paranormal, coming up next is the Horsefly Chronicles. Good friends of mine, Philip and Julia Syracuse. They'll be on right after this, so stay tuned. Jonathan, I can't even talk. Jonathan, so much for being here. I really enjoyed having you.
No, thanks for having me. I had a great time. And
okay, so Mish says, please keep me posted. Well, that's all you got to do. I always post a banner, you guys, so you guys can watch. It's always the same time, same space. Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern. Live always here at the Angel Rock on UPRN. Thursdays, always live, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lastly, I hopefully will be able to do it. I wasn't feeling well enough last week, but Wednesdays, David and I usually try to go live on his TikTok. We do readings, we do questions, free readings, and that's usually Wednesday evenings. So you can find him over there on the Spirit Experience, I believe. Oh, you guys are giving us all kinds. Submit your stories. A panel sounds cool. So we'll have to talk about all this stuff. So thanks again, Jonathan. Loved having you on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say tomorrow, like I said, at noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Eastern,
don't forget to tell them that. Yes.
I'll be going live for session number 9 with Ellen Ray Greenberg. And then, I was thinking for Halloween, if I can crack this Ellen Ray Greenberg, if I don't have to talk to her for a week, then I was going to try to contact my buddy, John Candy. I did it last year, I think.
John Candy? Like the John Candy? The Canadian John
Candy. His birthday. Yeah.
Cool. I want to be part of that. I'm inviting myself along. No, I'd love to see that.
No, I did it last Halloween, so...
so cool. Well, you guys stay tuned. So where are you doing the live? Because we got to get off of here, but where are you doing the live?
Just go to JK-47 Paranormal. I do all my lives here in my basement. Yeah, on Facebook and on Twitch. I'm on that Twitch thing too. So
cool.
All that fun stuff.
I'll have to find you on there. Okay. Love y'all. Much love and light. We'll see you Thursday. Come on back. We'd love to see y'all. Okay. Have a good one. We'll see you then. Take care.